The landscape of sports is one that is always evolving over the course of time, and one of the aspects that has had an effect on a variety of sports in the contemporary day is the use of various forms of technology. The use of technology improves our day to day lives, but its presence in athletic competition has been criticized for providing some athletes with an unfair advantage that other athletes are unable to match. But have these technological solutions lived up to their claims? And more crucially, is sport actually better off as a result of big tech's soil paws being all over it? A rundown of technological applications that have sparked debate and controversy is coming up. But before that happens, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the future content. Speed boosting swimsuits were used in the Beijing Olympics. The majority of swimmers in the Olympic Games in Beijing in 2008 used swimsuits manufactured by Speedo called LZR, which were designed to increase a swimmer's speed. The one-piece swimsuit, which covered the wearer from head to toe, was designed to maximize physical compression and hydrodynamics. When compared to a standard wetsuit, Speedo's wetsuit is said to offer a 38% decrease in the degree of drag or resistance to water experienced by the wearer. The acceleration increased by about 4% as a direct consequence of this change. Because of this, swimmers who did not have this suit could not even stand any chance of winning the competition. Even their sponsorship agreements to wear Speedo LZR for the 2008 Olympics were disregarded by the Japanese swimmers. At the Beijing Olympics, the swimsuit was a factor that contributed to the breaking of 23 of the 25 international records that were attempted. Despite this, the swimsuits were prohibited by the governing body of swimming, FINA, in 2010, although the Olympic results were not changed. Oscar Pistorius competes with prosthetic legs. Oscar Pistorius, a sprinter who had both of his legs removed, desired to compete in both the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games in Beijing. He wanted to run against sprinters who had their legs intact in the Olympic Games. His artificial legs were equipped with an ESR mechanism, energy storage and return, which worked in a manner analogous to that of a spring. The International Amateur Athletic Federation, or also known as the IAAF, and now known as World Athletics, asserted that the technology would provide Pistorius with an unfair edge over other runners who were able to run normally. Because of their decreased bulk, the artificial legs offered advantages in terms of inertia and required 25% less energy to keep up the same speed. The Court of Arbitration for Sport came to the conclusion that Pistorius' usage of the ESR prosthesis did not give him a competitive edge over his competitors. It caused the IAAF judgment to be overturned, and he was given permission to compete in events reserved for able-bodied athletes. Running shoes from Nike, the Vaporfly. Eliud Kipchoge, a runner from Kenya, completed a marathon in late 2019 in less than 2 hours, which caused a stir in the world of distance running. Shoe technology has advanced to the point where it has allowed athletes to compete at a greater level, as seen by the world records that were set by Eliud Kipchoge in Vienna and Brigid Kosgei in Chicago. Aside from coming from the same country and training together, the two sportsmen who smashed records had another characteristic in common. They both broke their marks while donning a prototype of the new Nike Vaporfly 4% sneakers. These two athletes both broke their records while wearing the shoes. Nike's research has demonstrated that wearing these shoes increases the amount of energy that a runner expands, hence improving the runner's performance. As a direct consequence of this, runners enjoy a competitive advantage over other athletes who do not use these shoes. Polara Golf Ball. According to many golf experts and observers, the Polara golf ball is an illustration of a technical innovation which renders a sport too easy and, as such, less hard. This conclusion was reached after observing the ball's impact on play. It is believed that less competent players who were more susceptible to making mistakes benefited from the technological innovation that was incorporated into the ball. However, it was of little value to more skilled golfers who already had a good handle on hitting the ball in the desired direction. The result was that the game became less difficult for everyone to play. Because of the one-of-a-kind design of this ball, it has a lower coefficient drag, which enables it to travel in a more direct path and for a greater distance. The self-correcting mechanism of the ball led to its eventual exclusion from the professional golfing circuit. Cycling outcomes determined by engineers. The decade of the 1990s was marked by a proliferation of new and improved bicycle designs. Prior to that, bicycle designs has not altered significantly since the 19th century. Many new records have been set in the sport of professional cycling as a direct result of technological advancement. The world governing body for cycling was afraid that matters were getting out of hand and that engineers may be affecting the outcomes. So they decided to prohibit the usage of certain designs. One of their main concerns was that engineers may be affecting the results. Following this, the regulations were amended in such a way that a rider was obliged to use a design that was similar to those that were created 50 years ago. This regulation came into effect on January 1st, 2018. Despite the fact that it was an interesting idea, riders never ceased trying to find ways to circumvent the regulations. Late in the year 2014, the regulatory board revisited its laws and updated them in order to make place for more contemporary design aesthetics. Hawkeye eliminates tennis umpires. Because of the technological advancement known as Hawkeye, umpires and line judges are now only mannequins whose sole duty is to check that the score is appropriately updated and to ask Hawkeye to evaluate any problematic line calls. Human judges were the only option for making significant judgments in the sport of tennis before the development of modern technology. It would appear at this time that the governing bodies of tennis are making efforts to eradicate any form of human contact that may take place on the court when players are participating. Aluminum cricket bat. We were on the fence between using Dennis Lilly's famed aluminum bat or the banned graphite bucket bat by Kookaburra, but ultimately decided to go with the DK bat. The renowned fast bowler did not get out during the overnight match versus England in Perth. Nevertheless, the next morning he strode out with an aluminum bat rather than a willow bat. He had previously used the bat successfully against the West Indies. However, on this occasion, he ran into some problems and was ultimately obliged to chuck it aside and face up with a standard wooden bat. And he was not happy about it. Following this, the bat was declared illegal to use by a number of cricket's regulatory organizations. APL footwear. The National Basketball Association did not even give the Athletic Propulsion Labs Concept 1 shoe a chance to be worn in a game before it banned them. The league opted not to take any chances and banned the shoes before the start of the 2010 to 2011 season, since it was rumored that the shoes contained technology that enhanced jump performance. It was not all negative news for APL, however, as it boosted sales up and may have even compelled one particular author to likewise purchase a pair of shoes as a result of the situation. Tacky gloves. Research revealed that certain types of gloves provided players with an unfair advantage while trying to mark or catch the ball. As a result, the Australian Football League decided to prohibit 6 different types of gloves in 2013, although the dispute has remained since then. 2 of the most well-known forwards who wear gloves, Travis Cloke and Quinton Lynch, were directly impacted by this. Lynch would later submit a request to the AFL for a medical exemption, which he would eventually be granted. He stated that if he was unable to wear a glove, he would be forced to amputate his pinky finger due to the numerous problems it was causing him. Technology has undergone significant transformations over the past decade, which have had an impact on sports in ways that very few people anticipated 10 years ago. There has always been debate regarding whether or not improvements in sporting equipment provide athletes an unfair advantage in their performances. The crisis around video assistant referees best exemplifies the difficulty of the sporting world to negotiate the unstoppable advance of technology without sacrificing the spirit and spontaneity that fosters a lifelong connection with so many fans in different parts of the world. This is a question that can be categorized as both technical and existential, and it is one that will require a satisfactory response in the not-too-distant future if the appeal of sport is to be maintained for a new generation of fans.